Hey guys, so I happened to catch a video talking about climate change in the American military. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but the Pentagon put forward a study. This was like 2010 or something. I think it was before Trump got in office, I know at least. They were just talking about how they consider climate change to be a real threat. It's talking about the amount of money they'll need to up armor bases, to deal with severe storms, deal with flooding, things of that nature. Now, in this capacity, I view climate change as just another capitalist extraction. Talked about it before. In capitalism, a lot of people on the bottom barely making it by, barely paying their bills. And they may live like this for a long time, just barely surviving. It just takes one emergency, and they're destroyed because they're already on the bottom. They're already 2 months behind the rent, or you understand? I think that the Pentagon, that study on climate change, it scared me. Because one thing about me, I study the rich, how they spend their money, and I study how the military spends their money. That's what I do. When it comes to issues of great moment, that's what I study. It makes me nervous to see the military. Like, I think Trump's highest ranking, the Joint Chief of Staff guy he put forward, saying, yeah, climate change is real. I heard about the other day, the Federal Reserve is doing something about climate change. This bothers me. These ghouls don't give a fuck about me or my family or anything like that. I've always believed the rich and the establishment have a certain higher science. I believe it's conspiracy. I believe that there's a science well before us. There's people living 20 years in the future. I believe that. And so when these conservative ghouls start coming out talking about climate change, that bothers me. Because these are people that I didn't expect to ever acknowledge this stuff, period. Trump is an ideologue. One thing I learned about him is that Trump is not scientific in any way. Everything he does is incompetent. That's good. But it just makes me think that something is coming. Something really big is coming. And that it's something we won't expect. Or it's something we will expect. You know, like I said, they're not doing this to help out people in Africa. Okay? They're doing this to get ahead. But once again, another extraction moment where things get worse. Because in a capitalist system, there really are no disaster preps. Like, I've had to realize for America that America would have never really had a preparation for COVID-19. That would have never happened. Because there's no money in storing up masks and shit for 5 or 10 years. There's no money in that. No money in that. No money in putting ventilators in a closet and closing the door on them for 5, 10 years. In fact, you're losing money because you're gonna have to, when you bring them out, you have to replace a lot of that stuff. You're gonna have to, so you're actually losing money. So there's no money in that. This system is made for the rich. They have picked away at American public health because who needs that stuff? Poor people. Who do you think are watching the Attorney General put on a t-shirt mask? Who's watching that? Poor people. Yeah. So they don't, they have nothing for you. And when I watched that back in March, I watched that coon put that, I just thought to myself about, like, we've got one of the biggest militaries, most powerful militaries in the world. We've got like 800 bases all over the world. And this fucking coon is showing people how to make a t-shirt mask. I'm like, this is an embarrassment. And then we learn about the Postal Service wanting to send out masks to people and all that. This country has nothing for working people. Never has, never will. Especially conservative. There's nothing for you. So I just, I just look at the climate change thing and other disasters I've been hearing people talk about. It bothers me. It truly bothers me that there are people who are talking about this now, because that's not good. You know, that's not good. Because let's understand something. Them talking about climate change or talking about stuff like that isn't an indicative. It's not. It's not indicative of a greater shift where we're like, okay, let's take care of our people. No, these are people talking about money. They're talking about capital. They're talking about loss of resources. They're talking about damage to the establishment and damage to the implements of fascism. They're talking about, you know, their world will be damaged too. Yeah, they're not talking about me or you. So it definitely it bothers me to see that. It scares me a little bit to see that there's a consensus that we have to do something about these things now. Too late. Climate change won't be stopped. I mean, I was reading earlier the last month that the ice in the Arctic Circle wasn't freezing. And, you know, I'm just this is it. We're not gonna stop this. It's just another capitalist extraction. Certain people are going to get very rich. A lot of people are going to be up the creek without a paddle. Period. You're not stopping this. We can't even get these assholes to wear masks. And you want someone to care about something they can't even see? Thank you for listening.